Buenos tardes, SUP community. It's time for another interview. We are on SUP Connect. My name is Kristen Thomas, and every Thursday we get to chat with someone interesting in the world of stand-up paddleboarding, and today is no different. We are going to Panama, which I bet is a country a lot of you don't know about, and I'm lucky to have been there before and absolutely love it. A mí me gusta Panama. And the gentleman we were talking to is also super passionate, super interesting. He owns a SUP paddle business down there, as well as being a SUP racer and paddler and adventurer and surfer himself. So we're going to get his story and talk about the shop and what's going on down there and how it's been in Panama. But just a place I really want to encourage you to hopefully you can visit someday. So without further ado, where's my little button? Let's have Arturo join us. And thanks everyone for signing in. Hey! I
How are
love it
you?
when it works. I always have that doubt, is it actually going to happen?
If it's gonna work, how's everything? How it sounds?
Yeah.
Everything's perfect.
Yep, I can hear you great. You have your logoed shirt on. We'll talk about
Always,
retail and branding and all that
always,
too. Yeah.
always. It's part of the uniform.
There you go. Well, so much to talk about, and I have so enjoyed our different conversations about so many things in stand-up paddling. But you have a business down there, but you're also very paddler yourself and very passionate. How did you get started? Do you have a water background? When did you first see a stand-up paddleboard? How'd you get hooked?
Well, um, I first of all let me thank you for this. This doesn't happen very often that we receive this kind of interviews. We always are watching. We always are, always eager to learn and to be able to see what other people are doing in the business. And thank you for that. Thank you for the invitation. Hey, Kristen, I got involved like everybody else. In my part in particular, I started from childhood. It's more or less like a family tradition. Both of my grandparents, actually my father's big older brothers, had two houses right next to each other in a one of the first beaches, surfing related beaches here in Panama that still goes on. It's very popular here. It's called Playa El Palmar. No, it's everybody learns in El Palmar. Okay, that's like so we had houses there. So my summers were there.
Hmm.
Both of my older cousins, I used to surf. And in front of our house, a guy named Russell Slot, which is his son runs the business now. He's an American, and
Mm.
he was a veteran. He moved to Panama looking for nice places to surf, and he stayed there and he almost teaches the ways of famous people from California drove to Panama, came to his house and watched movies. So it was very difficult not to get hooked by it. By my cousins also, you're looking at your cousins doing it. It's like, okay, I have to do that. But
Yeah.
I was the little one. I was the shortest one. So that's how I started, basically surfing. Surfing's it's one of the longer relationships I have had in my life. Um, I mean, and I got hooked to stand-up paddleboarding, and I'm changing. I'm leaving a lot behind because there's a lot of scuba diving involved on the Atlantic side. Remember that Panama has that amazing offering, two oceans, lakes, rivers. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that later, but it's difficult for Panamanians not to get hooked by the sea or the water or what goes on. Same as the people from California, from the East Coast, from Hawaii, from different places. We have the same thing.
Yeah.
So I got hooked because I also have a mixed martial arts, sort of, a little bit of
Uh-huh.
jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, which is boxing.
Hmm.
And I got an injury on my back. So for me, it was very difficult to be able to do the takeoffs while I was surfing. So I started looking at SUP as another way of being in the water again. and almost 30, 35 more or less. And I'm 50 years old, and I'm surfing every now and then. And I'm in the water every day, but because of work. But surfing wise, SUP has that connection, that offering that you can get in the water every freaking day, no matter what you like,
Yep,
no matter
everybody
what
can
you.
do it on any kind of water. We
Yeah,
love that about SUP.
it's incredible. So yeah, that's what got me hooked into it. The thing is, any surfer will know, and I'm pretty sure you know about this, that mostly all the people that has dropped surfing for a while, and there's this huge swell coming in, they want to go back again because they want to get in the swell, but they haven't trained for a few years.
Mm.
That's how I started with SUP, with SUP racing, but not racing, more or less more endurance, more training, more,
Hmm.
trying to work on my core, all of that.
Hmm.
And I started realizing that every time that I was training for my SUP, I was doing much better on the surfing side. I was surfing better. My movement were more fluid, and I was having more fun instead of struggling in the water. So I started training 2 times a week, and actually, I was working at that time at Converse, and that's been my background for 25 years, working for brand product manager for brands. That's how you get all the branding and all the merchandise that we do. Um, so I started. I sat down with my boss and I said to him, "It's like, you know what? It's difficult times, but even I'm gonna die from a heart attack working on this, or you have to give me the time for me to get in the water and perform better at work." So I started practicing 2 times a week, and I became more involved on it. And it's
Hmm.
I all of a sudden I'm working in Converse in a trip in New York, and I'm getting into a Barnes and Noble, waiting for my friends, and I'm looking like this book, Susie Cooney, Laird Hamilton, and I bought all of them immediately, and I start reading about it, and I fall in love with it, and definitely, uh, it's a nice community. I think it's a great community to be a part of.
Hmm.
Even you, the welcoming that I received the first ever surf expo that I attended. I mean, it was, yeah. I want to do this again. I want to come back. I want to go to every surf expo ever. Those are the things that get you hooked on a sport.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole bunch of different things, but there are a lot of things that are really special and great about stand-up paddling.
Yeah,
Well, one thing I feel about Panama is, at least where we are, Costa Rica is a little better known and thought of as the surf destination, but Central America has so many great places. And Panama specifically, with both oceans being the narrow country down at the bottom of Central America, and it
yeah.
has the Panama Canal and it has English speaking for those, because we have a lot of North
the
American
the
and Canadian
U.S.
listeners.
the U.S. currency. You have the
Yeah.
U.S. currency. I mean, Panama is a country of service. We are welcoming people. We speak, as you see, fluent English. Mostly everybody in the country does by need. Um, I mean, a lot of commerce, a cultural mix of my mom background. She's from Italy and Spain, and that's just my family. And then you have the Chinese cuisine here in Panama. It's insane. And you have all these Indian mix of of just food. It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's incredible to, and also, I mean, Panama's not big, as you may know. Panama is a little bit smaller than Florida. I mean, just to take in consideration how small we are. We're 4 million people, 1.5, maybe 2 million living in the city of Panama. I mean, after COVID, I mean, by all means, a lot of people from Colombia, from Venezuela, from Dominican Republic that
Mhm.
were working, doing service work in Panama, bartending and doing some. They have gone home. So I mean, it's a small country. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody. You come here and you go like, oh, you're paddler. Oh, you should know this guy Arturo. Ah, yeah, I know him. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to get attached, and I mean we have received, since I started. one of my basic missions were, because we have the Panama Canal, and that's
Yeah.
something that we have to be very, very understanding of what we have and take good care of the waters we're in. So the first thing is, we need to know what we're doing in these waters, because we cannot allow for some accident to happen, and then the Panama Canal should, it can't stop. You can't stop
Yeah.
that. So
International and very important.
so I mean, you should, for them to allow you to paddle there, you have to know what you're doing, and it's not, it doesn't require an expert. You know that, but you should know.
Hmm.
And that was my motto. I need to learn how to do this properly, and there's a lot of people actually that are very aware of the sport regionally. You have great people that, I'm amazed for how many, the guys from Peru, Chile, they're way, Argentina, Brazil, they're way advanced on paddling techniques or anything like that. But then you have to, we rely on the US. So we start um, receiving visiting from the US. Danny Chin, he loves come to Panama. He comes to a friend's place that it's in the other part of the city,
Hmm.
and he has been here with Ross Flemmer like 2 or 3 times for special events that they do in Panama. Other type of techniques that B1 OC, but
Hmm.
things that we don't do in the place that I work. But 4 years ago, Connor Baxter came with Bruno Hasulio, Tomo-san from Japan. It was great to have him here. And I also has done a lot of, actually, we contact Brody Well
Yeah.
from
Hmm.
Paddlefit,
Hmm.
and we hosted a 23 per people coaching uh,
Training. So,
certification training,
right.
because
That's one of your certifications, right? You're a paddle fit
exactly,
coach. Yeah,
because
I
we
am also.
wanted to
Hmm.
for everybody to properly train the rest of the guys that we were starting, and that's the basic consent on everybody.
Yeah. Well, I
That
think that's a wonderful piece of what you've done. So when did you start the business? How long have you been paddling? And then when did the store
Wow.
come about?
Well, I started around 2013, but with I don't know if you remember a person. Well, this guy Eduardo Owen. He used to be
Sounds
in
familiar. Hmm.
exports. He used to work with Fanatic. So I started working Fanatic through him,
Hmm.
and 6 years has passed. I'm currently happily working with SIC and Tahe in Boston,
Hmm.
and we also work with Infinity, Black Project, QuickBlade, which we have a really great relationship with them.
Hmm.
So I mean, we we're working with several of the top brands in the business here
Yeah.
in the shop. This was 2016. I opened stand up Panama in 2016.
But you had people visiting and you were involved in that even earlier. That's great that you like,
Yes,
yeah,
I mean, I started by
coordinated that.
myself, working and trying to bring my own boards, and then all of a sudden, like everybody else, like, hey, can you get me one? Hey, can you get me one? Can I get one of yours? What
Yeah.
you're using? Can you get me one? And then I
Hmm.
start selling, and it's gonna sound like a cliche, but out of my garage, and a shitload of boards. Everybody was pissed off at me at building because I had a lot of boards there. But at the end, we started moving product. Two friends of mine told me, like, hey, we should open a shop. And I said, like, nah, 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 I don't want to open a shop. I don't want to get into that because I had another job. I was working for Converse, so I was pretty busy at the time. So they convinced me, and we did this 3-part business. And all of a sudden, they started to leave business, and then I was all alone with other partners. And then I was like, you know what, I'm better by myself. And I opened Stand Up Panama out of nothing, from zero, from scratch, and it was
Well,
bittersweet, but it was
yeah,
really nice because you create everything from ground zero, and then
yeah.
you start.
Well, business is a big challenge. I've been to Panama, Panama City. I have surfed on both the Pacific side and Bocas del Toro on the Caribbean
It's
side, which people don't even
amazing.
know how to surf. All Just amazing, and the tropical everything, and the pictures I've seen of where you are out on the causeway in a
Yes,
hotel are amazing. I can't wait
it
to visit
is.
your shop.
It's the I invited you several times.
I know.
Sadly,
Not this year,
COVID.
yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? The important thing about where we are is that, just to be in perspective, we are in the south part of Panama City,
Hmm.
and once you hit the city, there's like a causeway that goes 10 kilometers away from shore. So, and we're there. So we have the lowest point when you go out of the marina. We start from a marina. When you go out of the marina, you have all the Panama Canal view for the ships that are coming in or coming out.
It's
And it's
amazing.
incredible. And it's also a very specific place because it is man-made. So if you paddle from this rock to that rock, it will be 1 kilometer. If you go to the other rock, it will be 1 kilometer. So it's easy for you to keep track of where you're going and what you're doing and your training purposes of the day.
Oh,
So it's very nice.
yeah.
For the trip side, I mean, I'm always paddling there. I paddle there every day. So we wanted to to test ourselves going outside and doing other specific places. So we started this idea of the four paddles in the four different waters that we have in Panama. So we started with the Taboga, which is an island, which is on the south side of Panama. I will say 12 kilometers away from the city of Panama, and we do several trips. We do one, it's called Tabogazo, which is like is I will have to say it's like the first ever. It's the first test that you do. You cross from Panama City to Taboga. It's like a 10 mile ride, 10 kilometers. Sorry, it's like I will
Six.
say, yeah, around
Miles, yeah.
6 miles. And then from 2 years ago, we've been doing back and forth, and we do the 15 miles but that's like the first time you do it. But 3 years ago, no, let's say 10 years ago, that was impossible to do because no one has, crossed to Taboga. So when you were saying, and there were only 7 miles, and you were telling people like, oh no, this weekend I'm going across Taboga. I was like, what? You're crazy? How come? Man, it's right there. But okay, there's two trips that we do. The Tabogazo, which is it's always in December. And then for my birthday, we do a special tour, which is in the marina we have this charter boat, very big, and from the club, 50 people, 50 boards, 50 people, beers, gathering. You do the trip, you go around the island, we sightsee the island, we eat over there, and then we come back. I mean, it's a very nice trip that people look forward to. So they started to do like these challenges, and then we moved to the lakes and the rivers, and we do special trips. The Caribbean trip is one of the favorite ones because we go across these mangler groves, and then you go out of this incredible blue pool in the Atlantic side. It's beautiful, and it's around also like 10 miles. Also, it's not that much, but we go. Uh, going across the place, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah. Well, you have all these wonderful waters and these great guided trips and things you've done separately. But I'm going to do a plug for next year because I know I'm one, and I hope some of our listeners will join me. You're kind of putting them together in a package tour, which
Yes,
just sounds amazing because it's a different water every day. It's going to be on both oceans and lake and river, and
and we
probably
can
about a
get
4 day. I know you're still working it out, but
four
you
four
already
day.
have it planned so well. I'm so excited.
Well, actually, I have to give a shout out to my friend Robert Bell. He's a
Mm.
Panamanian living in the U.S., and he's been pushing me a lot to do this kind of trips because he understands the potential we have in the country,
Hmm.
and also it's very important to mention the community because we have our club. It's around 120 members,
Wonderful.
that hardcore paddlers, mom and dad paddlers, families. The youngest one has 10 years old. The oldest has probably 70 something. I mean, but that community is been building a lot. So it's creating a lot of noise, definitely. So it's. I have some friends that have come from the U.S. One of my friends, Larry Goldstein, he invited me to the Sea Paddle in New York, which I
Oh, yeah.
attended.
You've done that, yeah.
Oh man, that was incredible. The community there is incredible. But he came to Panama, and he had a wonderful time. And everybody, he started making friends because you're a friend from New York.
Hmm.
So he had a really nice time. Seychelle was here.
Yes, they should.
Seychelle, she was so special, and actually, she's been coaching a few of our friends, and a few of the members of the national team are being coached by her. And she loved it. She loved it in Panama.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Fantastic, yeah.
we have our doors open to everybody
Yeah.
that will like to come by.
So, like many of the successful stores, and I believe last year you were the shop of the year with Sup Connect. Congratulations, yeah, in
Thank you.
2019.
I
Um,
still can't believe that.
I know it's wonderful, and I love seeing out of the U.S. It's good. I mean, this is popular all over the world
Oh,
wherever there's water. Yeah, yeah.
for me, it was incredible for a blog, for a company, for somebody in the industry to even look for somebody in the Latin American territory. And then obviously there's some voting around, and some ways that they pick and they're winners. But for me, it was even I was even honored to be mentioned, because for me, like, shops like Big Wins are the shops that when I started it working, those were the pages that I was looking to see, what were the good products that I should look into.
Hmm.
And I don't know their owners, but they're doing an incredible, and shops like South Shore Paddleboards, Karen from New
Hmm.
York. I mean, she
Hmm.
does an amazing job. I don't know how she does it, and being just chosen, it was like, wow, this is cool. This is very, very, very nice. Yeah,
Well,
but
it's wonderful, and
we did
yeah.
some teachers, some teachers and everything. It was very fun, and the guys from the members from the club, they're still waiting for the party, and it's like we have to throw a hell of a party, and then COVID showed up, but yeah,
Yeah, which makes us all want to travel more. But successful shops, I really have a heart for the shops like you that got started in stand-up paddling from scratch. So even though I agree that some of those bigger stores that were in water sports before are great models for you guys to build from, like Big Winds is a good example, that also do other
definitely.
sports and you do. But there's all these great, you know, passionate people who started stand-up paddle stores, and I'm so happy that a lot of you are,
Le-
and most of you seem to be finding success by doing retail and building the community and having excursions or events, or bringing people
yeah,
together, getting people on the water. So again, congratulations for being a
thank
really
you.
really good at bringing all of that together. So
Thank you very
um,
much.
I do want to ask you, in terms of having a shop, in case somebody listening would be interested, maybe some tips about if somebody wanted to get started with stand-up paddling, because it's not easy, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. I thought it was gonna be easier, and no, it's not. It's not. You have to. Uh, well, first of all, you need to understand that there's no paycheck involved. You're doing this because of passion. Because, for example, in our club, the club opens at 6. I'm there at 5:30 every day. I wake up at 4 every day.
Wow,
We
that's
open
early.
from we Yeah, it is. But I need to understand that we're providing a good service, and we're providing a sport, and it's a place that if we don't have that place here in Panama, it will be very hard, even for myself. Or if you're visiting me, it will be very hard for me to take you paddling and showing you Panama. Otherwise, I mean, unless we go, 6 hours away, 2 hours away, 3 hours away. But
Hmm.
having this shop nearby and opening, and for people to see that the model works, because I have friends that have surf schools, that they are looking at me and they're saying, "Man, your business is working." It's like, well, you're not going to become a millionaire, but you can have a decent way, honorable living doing this, but doing it properly.
Yeah.
My you asked me, the question was tips, right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The first one is that you cannot do it all. You cannot do it all. Athletes can do it all. Athletes need a nutritionist, they need a psychologist, they need a coach, they need a technical support. Imagine that somebody that it's opening a shop that needs to put an order that hasn't like me, not too many administrative skills, like in the administrative part or financial part. I'm more like a marketing and product manager, and for me to look at a catalog and place an order, it's easy. But then, tell me about the numbers, then. But you cannot do it all. First of all,
Yeah.
second one, you have to build your brand. It doesn't matter, if you're gonna put your name in the name or something. You need to build the brand, and you build in the brand by creating your own niche. My niche in Panama was providing a recreational facility for people to train, to think healthy, to have, and don't push people around. Like, if you see somebody that is paddling hard, then you want him to compete. No way. He's there because he wants to pray, because he wants to go out, because he needs the sun. I don't know. It's a question of providing that service and being patient, because the hardest thing in business is to retain your client. That's
Yeah.
that's it's that's the most difficult thing. And if you can learn how to some people, it happened to me in the past. Like, if you're my client and all of a sudden you want to buy another brand, and I'm getting upset because of that. No, man, it's your money. Should not get upset because of that, because maybe the next board, I will sell you the next board.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lose a client because of that.
And we have had a lot of discussions about that in the industry. It is hard when right now Amazon sales, people are buying online. They're not buying from specialty retail,
Yeah.
but they need you and they need the stores. And once people get hooked on stand-up paddling, we hope they bought product that was good enough that they're going to love it, like we all do, and they should. Then they need community. They need to buy other products. They need you for their next
It's
board. So
exciting.
just trying to look positively in how we steer people in your direction to help them continue, make it a lifelong thing, and make them, like as you said, retain those customers or keep those customers.
For example, a friend of mine told me the other day regarding COVID, like, hey man, what you're doing, what are you gonna do? It's like, man, I'm staying here. I just put 6 years of my life into this. I'm just not gonna let this, being closed or just not do anything about it. I need to, come back and work and try to work out again, because, there's no sense of wasting 6 years of doing this. I'm looking this as the long run. I'm not looking this and hopefully one of my, my son or my daughter, they get hooked on the sport and they continue the tradition. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm not going to push for that, but at least I'm having fun and I'm having a decent job. But and the other thing is I'm doing what I love.
Yeah.
But you asked me one question on the questionnaire, which I adore, and I haven't even answered because I don't know how to answer it. It is so cool. You asked me when you first started paddling, what will you tell yourself from what you know now? I don't know, Kristen. I don't know. Just be patient. Just
That's a good answer.
just be patient. Just be focused on your own thing.
Well, and I know you, and obviously by the things you've said, you're always willing to learn. So
Yeah.
keep learning and keep trying. I assume that means trying new things and.
First thing, like, for example, if you're starting to do this, you need to look for a reliable source that can teach you, paddle feet, ISA, somebody within for example, in Panama, we have the Asociación Panameña de Surf, which is the, Panama Association of Surfing. They are the regent, not anybody else. And then we have the Olympic Committee, which I'm a part of it. And I've been, taking certifications, we call it diplomados. I don't know how, but will be like more or less certifications
Yeah.
regarding sports science, sport methodology, and then because you need to learn what you're teaching, and then you will understand it better and you explain it easier. I mean, that's the way that I see it. You need to understand. You're not gonna. I mean, you're gonna learn a lot from YouTube, but then you'd have to grab one of Susie Cooney's book and read about it, and then train it, and then come back, and all those things. It's a process. It's not
Yeah.
gonna happen overnight. It's same thing as business. But yeah, those will be my tips. Like, focus on what you're doing and learn about it, but learn from scratch. In martial arts, if you don't learn the basics, how come you're going to do something different if you haven't learned the basics of it?
Yeah. The foundation
The
to build.
foundation.
Yeah.
It's same here. So
Yeah.
if we have a good foundation for the paddlers, the person that is starting, that guy is going to be hooked. That guy is going to go out and talk good about you and what you're doing, and his experience, because right now everything has to do with the experience somebody's having.
So true. And unfortunately, with COVID, we haven't been able to have quite as many, but most of us have been able to get on the water. I know you had a
Yeah.
period when you were closed. So before we leave, like your business, in terms of tips, let's talk about what to avoid. Are there any mistakes that you either made yourself or would want? What do you avoid?
There's many mistakes. Every week there's something happening. Uh, the mistakes mostly people do. People need to be in the water. If you're not in the water, your business is not gonna. It's not gonna go through. You need to be in the water, telling people, showing them what you're using, product, talking about. People wants to know what you can tell them, and always, people wants to do the sale. And yes, I want to do the sale too. I mean, that's my business. But then that's the client that I'm gonna see every freaking day. I don't want to sell him something that he's not gonna be happy about. So sometimes it takes me a little longer to do the sale, but when I'm selling something for that person, and obviously in Panama, our social economics are not the same as the U.S. So for somebody to spend $3,000 on a carbon fiber 14-footer, it's something to consider. So I mean, I need to assure that person that what he's taking is the right thing, and he will be happy. And
Yeah. Well,
those
that's a
are,
huge service that you're doing, is being able to tell him and help him find or her the right board and the right equipment
yeah, yeah.
instead of.
That's basically it. I mean, and yeah, and also find a niche. I mean, if you're for example, I just do stand-up paddleboarding. Tahe has kayaks, and I don't sell kayaks. And if somebody wants a kayak, of course I can sell. I don't know anything about kayaks, but I want to stay true to what I'm doing, and be able to focus on that in particular. But mostly people, they don't do kites, and they sell kites. But they're hopefully you're not that. You're not gonna sell it. So if it's like I'm starting selling surfboards now. I don't do surf. I mean, I don't do surf anymore.
But you do know surf.
Yeah, I do. But no, in the place that we are, we're more or less faithful to what we're doing with stand-up paddleboarding. But my tip will be, find your niche
Yeah.
and stay there and work it and work it. Some people like yoga. Stay true to yoga. That's, your clients are going to look you for that. They're not going to look you for, if you're going to learn how to take them surfing. That will be one of the tips.
Well, those are excellent tips. You've talked a bit about what you sell and all, and you are an active. You're on the water, so tell us what your. I'm listening to a British guy right now. What your kit looks like is what they call it. But what
My kit,
equipment do you use?
my quiver. Oh,
Yeah, your quiver.
I have so many. Well,
How about
my
a
my
couple favorites?
no, my favorites for racing definitely are Sigma weaveboards from around 6 years ago, more or less 5 years. I started putting an eye to them. I was using Starboard for quite a bit, and before that, I was using Riviera. with the brand with the Rambo brothers, which we got along really well. And but then when the FX came along, I started using the FX, and now I just turned to the RS, and that's what I've been doing since 2019, and I love it. It's incredible. The thing is, I'm supposed to use a 14 by 24, and I'm using a 14 by 26 because of my sciatica problem. I'm using a little bit more wider, but more volume board.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with that.
No, no,
Yeah,
I just wanted to point that out. And
find your happy place.
yeah, why struggle? I just
Yeah.
want to be in the tour and do the, if I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna get into the end 10 10 minutes longer. I don't mind. 5 minutes longer. I don't mind. On the
Awesome.
surfing side,
Hmm.
that's a whole different ballgame. Uh, Currently, I'm using a round nose blower, custom, 811 by 30, double decker, a shaped by Dave Bainey.
Nice.
That's really cool board. And then the
Oop, I lost you for a second.
uh,
There we go.
sorry, somebody was calling me.
Ah, you're back.
And yeah, in the surf side, I'm using the slice, the 9 by 24, 29 inches wide. That board is amazing. It's been they changed the factories, and it's been shaped now by John Henderson, and it's incredible. I loved it since I started. So I have the round nose blur right there, but
Hmm.
I've been changing fins and try them in different depending on what we're doing. Um, you want to talk about paddles? I actually love two brands, and I've been able and mature enough to balance the love between them. Black Project, the
Hmm.
Hydro, I think it's incredible. I've been changing from the 95 to the 88 because I have lost some weight. And also the quick blade, then the new version, the UV, I'm using the 88 blade, which I love it. I think it's Jimmy. He's a master. He builds good stuff, and Chris also from Black Project is doing an incredible product on the hydro side. I That's the one that I use the most for longer distances.
Hmm.
And then for subsurfing, I'm using the Black Project Surge, which is more teardrop blade, a little bit more wider, and it's really good, a really good paddle to use for surfing.
Nice.
On the fins, the ones that I really like are the same model from Black Project. It's a very short fin, very fluid. It turns fast. If you step on the back of the rail, the board will turn very fast. So I mean, those are the ones, and I'll use it more for smaller days, not bigger days. For bigger days, they have the Brent, the Rodiger fin,
Oh
which
yeah.
is very nice. Yeah, that one is really good. But
Didn't.
yeah, more or less that's what I've been using. On the apparel size, on the apparel side, I'm using Salt Life. They have an amazing apparel. It's called the Vapor X. It's scales. It's very light and it's UV protected.
Great. And I know we talked about branding, having your own t-shirts and stickers and such has been really important to having a
Uh,
successful store, it seems. It's like, as you said, creating that brand and then having apparel to go with it and all. We've talked a lot about Panama, and it is an amazing country, but you've been to New York. Are there places you've traveled, other places you've stand-up paddled, or
one
places you want to go in
oh,
terms of
one of the
exploring?
one of the best things I have had in my more or less 10 years of doing stand-up paddleboarding has been the traveling. I've been lucky enough to travel and meet incredible people.
Hmm.
I did a trip 2 years ago with my wife and my mother-in-law. We did a family trip, and all of a sudden my wife came to me like, "Hey, I booked you for a class." I was like, "Oh God." In England, I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
Jesus Christ, yes, but I'm from the tropics. I don't, I don't like cold too much. But then, it's like I was thinking, like, oh, should I wear a wetsuit? What wetsuit should I do? So when I came to the place, Active 360. I still remember in Paddington Basin, England. And one of the coaches, Mohammed, amazing coach, really cool person. We did this. It was supposed to be an hour, and we were like, "Hey, man, let's do this. I don't mind. I'll pay for this." And we did like a whole basing trip, like 3 hours more or less, and it was incredible. For me, it was different, definitely. Instead of seagulls and things, we have swans. So for me, just the swans and the people walking by, it was incredible. Same trip, I like it so much that I went to France and I Googled someplace in Marne, which now I know is the west side of France. And Spanish guy took me for a trip near the lakes, more swans. We almost got attacked by one. It was very, I never knew that those
Yeah, they
birds
can be
will.
aggressive.
Oh, it was something. But it was a fun trip, and I always tell this to everybody. I mean, you will travel, and then you can go to any of these places and rent a board and have fun, a different type of fun and it's a different type of tourism, which is what I'm trying to address in Panama.
Yeah.
Hey, just to mention a few places, like for example, Chile. I have surfed in Peru, Costa Rica, which is right next door. It's incredible. They have great surfing and they have the beach right there. And they have done an extremely good job of offering the tourism packages and things like that. You mentioned that at the beginning, and it's all about tourism. They know how to explode what they have. Geographically, also, Costa Rica, it's a little bit lower than Panama if you look at the map. So for
Right.
deep sea fishing, for example, here in Panama, you have to go 4 hours, 3 hours away. Then in Costa Rica, you have to go in an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So, that creates several advantages. But in Panama, you have all this cultural diversity, and it's different, definitely different. Um, just to tell you two other places, San Onofre. I went nearby Sano
You need to
with
come
Robert.
back. I
Oh,
was there
I
this
need
morning.
I need to go. I need to go. That place was magical. I was surfing and all of a sudden I saw this bunch of 70 guys. They were ripping the waves. They were ripping, and one of them actually was Ron House, which I was like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck, that's
Some
Ron
of the
House.
OGs from the original.
Oh man,
Yeah.
they were ripping on the
Well, and
surf.
you're young, I know, still younger than me. But one thing we hope with stand-up paddle surfing, because you don't have to pop up, is that you can do it till the day you die. Where,
Of course,
surfers, and it's part of some of these hardcore surfers have made the transition over to our little stand-up paddle zone
I
area of
I don't
Sano.
blame I
Yeah.
don't blame them, and that's one of the things that I usually do in Panama, because people tell you like, oh, that's easy. Here's my board. Here's the paddle. Go ahead and try it. I mean, not in a bad way. I mean, it is the same thing when you're getting to a certain age. I mean, you have a better perspective. You have less chances, and you enjoy. Maybe I mean, for me, it's more difficult to drop down a 6, 7 foot wave in a sub than in a surfboard. For me, I mean, the thrill to of these 140 liters, it's difficult, but that's what I like. The other place incredible on the Central American area is El Salvador, which I was lucky to attend on December with the Panama team to the
I,
ISA World
yeah.
Games,
Yeah.
and I went
That
there
looked
with.
amazing, that Point Break.
It
Ooh,
was
yeah.
incredible, and the people, it's very nice, and the wave is great, and obviously the atmosphere, right? I mean, we were able to sit down with Connor and with Saint, with Jade, with the guys from Spain, Italy, the Nika brothers. I mean, so many people that were around, and it was good. It's an amazing community, and Anthony Vela was there. He did a remarkable job as a judge, as always. I think guy, it's a tough position for him.
Yes, but he handles it well, doesn't he?
He handles it very well. With he's Yeah, he's very fair. So, I mean, those are the places that I've been lucky enough to travel, and
Hmm.
it's been great, to
Yeah.
be honest with you. Yeah, stop surfing or doing stand-up paddleboarding, either
Yeah.
or.
Both great. Well, I know one of your hobbies is photography, and I'm excited. We have a Facebook group that will follow up, and I'll post some pictures I'm going to steal from you from off Facebook and some that you've sent. Are you a drone? Do you do the drone footage, or do you have
No,
know somebody who does that?
no,
Because you have some great overhead shots.
we have our friend Juancho Prieto. He's one of our club members. He's always in the trips. He's always doing part of the trip with me. Then he goes in the rescue boat and he start lifting the drone. He takes pictures of everybody. That's one of the things that we try to do also. I mean, every time that we do this kind of trips, we have somebody like Juancho or Vicente, which are the two main photographers that I use, and they know how to take a good picture of all the sightseeing, and it's always good for the people that goes to these trips after the trip to find this amazing picture of themselves in this spectacular place. So that's always a good thing to consider and have.
Yeah, very fun. Another thing you mentioned that you've gotten into is working with adaptive stand-up paddling and adaptive. Is that part of sort of the Olympic movement? Because of course it has the Paralympic side. No?
No, it has to do with me and how I've been raised and who I'm married to. My wife is the sub administrator of a ONG, a bank's ONG in here in Panama, and she has been in UNICEF
Oh,
for several years also, and it's a part
wonderful.
of what we do. I think, and I always tell this. Well, my mom put this into my ship. You can always help from where you are, and some people, they just need somebody to help them and to achieve simple tasks. And for example, we've been doing, we've been working a lot with Down syndrome, and it's a thing of patience. I mean, everybody, every human goes at their own pace. You just have to be there and explain and be patient and try to, be a part, and you can always help. And yeah, that's more or less what we do. But yes, I try to, for example, in October, we start the Paddle for Pink trip, which last year we raised around $1,000 more or less, and our sponsors from the boat, they raised over $5,000 during the month
Oh,
of the
that's great.
October.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
we did this amazing trip around Taboga. We all had like the pink shirts, and it was very special, very emotive, because we have a lot of cancer survivors in the group, and in our family also. I mean, I think everybody's been affected by cancer somehow, and it's always good to remind ourselves that we can paddle a little longer for the people that we care. And the group, the members of the group accept that, and they embrace all those events and all those activities, and
Hmm.
and and we just do them.
Yeah.
We just try to organize them.
Yeah. Well, community has come up already a couple of times. Wherever stand-up paddling is, the community seems amazing. And it does seem to be always a very welcoming community, super generous, just so many different charitable things that people are doing. And that shared love of water. I mean, now there's scientific evidence that we are actually addicted to being in, on, or around the water and all the positive benefits that it has. What a great addiction to have. There's plenty of others that are negative.
Of
But you said, it really being on the water feeds your soul, and I think so many people listening can relate
For
to that.
me, it fits I mean, it calms me. It works in different ways. In
Hmm.
different ways, definitely. Yeah, I've been blessed to have this change of business perspective in my life. To be honest with you, and also a family that supports it, because it's very my agenda and my dress code is very different than all my friends.
And
But
that's
yeah.
yeah, but that's a good thing. And you've got a little one too, don't you? How old is
Oh
he now?
yeah,
Yeah,
Ariel, 3 years
yeah,
old, and incredible. A lot of batteries, and he's been on a board already, and you know, we just
fun. Busy time in life, but how fun that you have this outdoor work that you can, you know,
It
probably bring
is.
him to. Not all the time, but I'm sure
Well,
some of the
actually,
time. Yeah.
he went with us to the sea paddle. There's
Yep.
Ariel came with us to the sea paddle. They were with their Panama flags waiting, before we leave. Actually, the group that I went, they did this favor for me they leave me the first leg of the crossing, which was the Brooklyn Bridge all the way to Williamsburg Bridge, and it was incredible. That was one of the best trips for me. Very, very, very emotional, actually. Yeah,
Mm. Well, really impressed that you did it too. Well,
it
Arturo,
was hard.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Um, you mentioned scuba. I wanted to ask you about because I'm fascinated by all the underwater side too. Is that something? Is that a popular activity in Panama also? Certain parts
It is. It is.
more on the
I'm
Caribbean side, or?
more. Wow. You know all the stuff. Yes, definitely more on the Caribbean side, and not only. I mean, in the Pacific, we have an island which is the biggest island on the Central American territory, which is called Coiba. It's right in front of Santa Catalina, which is one of our best waves in Panama. Big and very hollow wave. Coiba, it's a paradise. You find any species around in the place, clear water, very active. It's incredible, and also, I mean, it's very active. It's an amazing place to go. The scuba in Panama has been more explored on the Atlantic side, except for Coiba in particular on the Pacific. But then
Mm,
in Panama, we have other places that we haven't, they haven't been explored as somebody that actually goes there and starts this business. But yeah, there's some people, with their own boats, and they usually go every now and then. But as a business, a legitimate business that can take you in the Pacific scuba diving, I don't think we have. I don't think we have right now. But yeah, it's been more evident in the Atlantic than the Pacific side. Yeah.
yeah, but still all wonderful. Well, it's been fantastic talking with you, and I know we're going to stay in touch, and hopefully everyone's staying healthy and safe, and we can get through this COVID thing so we can travel again.
Yes, we're
Always,
waiting. We're waiting for that. I mean, in Panama, everybody it's looking and expecting a lot from tourism, local tourism first, and that's where we're starting to plan all our trips, and in low pace, low quantity of people, and then start to open the hotels and restaurants, and we're in that process.
yeah,
And yeah, people are still being careful about
yeah,
about
yeah.
about the COVID. Yeah.
But I'm happy for both of us, and hopefully a lot of you out there are able to get to the water and get out on the water, even if it's in small groups and safely and all of that. Just a reminder that these are recorded right away, so if you didn't get to hear the whole thing, or if you have a friend who didn't, it's on IGTV of SupConnect right away, and then it will be on YouTube channels, both on SupConnect and on KT Outside on my new YouTube channel. And we also have that Facebook group, Sub Connect Live Discussions. We'd love you to join us there, and we'll put any links to so you can find Arturo and find Stand Up Panama and his future tours. And if you get down there, hope you do get to get down there. Anything else that we talked about, and post some pictures there too of your beautiful spot.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
Gracias,
Kristen, for
senor.
your time.
Yeah, yeah, loved it. Great to talk with you. Take care.
Likewise. Thank you. Bye.
Be well.